Hey guys, HDvee here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some really interesting things to go over about the Indigo Disk DLC. A 4chan post that popped up a couple of months ago has correctly predicted a lot of information, including the release date for the Indigo Disk DLC. So this could very well be a massive leak about the second part of the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero DLC. A lot of stuff to break down and get into today. If you're excited for the video, as always, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. It really helps out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we cover in today's video. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way, let's get into the video, and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, this is the post here. Like I say, this was posted on 4chan, so take it with a massive grain of salt, because obviously it's not confirmed until the DLC is out, but they have correctly predicted a lot of stuff in this post, which obviously dropped on the 20th of September. So, way before we got like loads of Indigo Disk DLC stuff, and obviously, as you can see from the first line, it says DLC 2, Indigo Disk release date 14th of December, 13th for some countries. So straight off the bat, it has got that correct. I mean, at the same time, it wasn't like crazy to predict the date for the Indigo Disk, because we knew that it was going to be sometime in December because of the whole regulation thing with the competitive Pokemon. So we were kind of expecting it to be in December, even though a lot of people were still adamant it was going to be like April and stuff because of what the eShop says. But no, like it was looking like it was going to be December. So to get the correct date obviously is still very impressive, but we knew kind of like a time frame of when it was going to be. But either way, I mean, they got it straight on the money, and obviously the 13th for some countries as well is also looking very likely, because that is exactly what happened with the Teal Master DLC. It came out like one date for some of the world, and then obviously a different date for some of the other because of time zones and stuff like that. So far so good, correctly predicted the date. So hats off to them for that. Even if this is fake, they did a very good job of guessing that correctly. Next up, Terapagos, normal rock type. Now this is also very likely to be the case, because Riddlerku did post an image of Terapagos saying like what was its type, and it also gave the types of normal, psychic, dragon, and rock. So those were the 4 different types that Riddlerku kind of like gave out, and that is what this person has said that Terapagos is going to be. Now this is the Terapagos, like the baby form, like the original form of Terapagos, which is going to be normal rock. They then go on to say that Terapagos' Tera state, so the one that we originally saw with the Indigo Disk DLC kind of announcement, the big turtle, is going to be Dragon Rock in that Tera state. Again, 2 of the types that Riddlerku did tease in that post like a couple of months ago or whatever. And then he goes on to say Terapagos Ultima State, which again is the 3rd form of Terapagos, which again is the one that is in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet book. That is going to be the Ultima type. So I'm assuming that is going to be something to do with the 19th Tera type, and that is probably what it's going to be called, like the Ultima type. But we know that it's going to have to be involved with that in some way, shape or form, because it is about terrestrialization, and Terapagos is the kind of being behind terrestrialization. So like I say, if this is true, then those are the typings of Terapagos. Again, take it with a massive grain of salt, because it is just something that we've seen on 4chan, but they have got a lot of things right, and like I say, it came out a while ago. They then go on to say, when sent out into battle, the little one, so the original form of Terapagos, transforms into its terrestrialized state form. So obviously this is something else that could also be legit, simply because we now know that Terapagos' the original form's ability is not affected by Weezing's or Galarian Weezing's neutralizing gas. And so obviously if it was affected, it wouldn't be able to terrestrialize straight away into the Tera state form. So that is why it wouldn't be affected by neutralizing gas, because it needs to terrestrialize into this Tera state form. So again, could be another thing that's like giving this more legitimacy. And then it goes on to say, however, it can still terrestrialize once more, like Ultra Necrozma using the Ultra Burst and a Z move. Terrestrialized state Terapagos is Tera locked like Ogerpon, but it is the only dual type Tera Pokemon until it becomes the Ultima state. So I could very well see that being true, like for Terapagos, and that being its ability and stuff. We know that it's got a defensive ability, and maybe its defensive ability is the fact that it can terrestrialize into, you know, different types and stuff. So obviously it can give it like more resistances and stuff like that, which I guess could be seen as a defensive ability. But either way, that's all the Terapagos stuff. So like I say, it's not completely out there. You know, a lot of it does seem relatively legitimate. Next up, all Pokemon can terrestrialize into the Ultima Tera. Again, this is likely going to be the option. We did see the pseudo legendary of this gen terrestrialize, or have the option to terrestrialize into this 19th Tera type, and some change form like Terapagos. Ultima, which I guess could also be seen as terraforms. We were originally expecting quite a few terraforms, but now that we know we're closer to like the release of the Indigo Disk and stuff, obviously Ogerpon got a terraform, Terapagos is getting a terraform, maybe a couple of others are, like Riddler-Ku a while ago did say that a few more were going to get them, but again, that may have been scrapped due to like time constraints and stuff like that. But either way, the Ultima Tera functions as typeless. So Pour Me and Double Shock was a hint to this, as it gets an Ultima form Nemona can use in a battle facility in post-game. Ultima Tera, again, it's looking likely, but it very well could still be fake. Loses your weakness, but aren't super effective with Ultima Tera Blast. So that is obviously very, very interesting there as well, about the fact that you would lose your weakness, but it doesn't make your move like super effective. So again, that is a very defensive ability, which is another reason why Terapagos' ability could be seen as defensive, if that is true. And then we're moving on to the new Pokemon. So Dokutaru, obviously we already know about that. I think that was probably data mined before this post even went live anyway, so you can't really give him too much for that. But yeah, Dokutaru, I mean, I don't think that's going to even be its name, but that is the Pokemon that we know about. And that is going to apparently be a ghost poison type, which isn't crazy to assume. We know it's most likely going to be poison, just simply because it, you know, it is the leader of like the loyal three. They're all poison type, and obviously with like the whole toxic chains and stuff like that. So the ghost type is also very likely as well, and that is just the secondary typing that a lot of people like have just kind of imagined that it's going to be. And then we have Hydraplin, which is obviously going to be Diplin's evolution, and that is Grass Dragon. Now, of course, Riddler-Ku did post not too long ago with like a bug kind of type symbol and also a grass type symbol, and he was kind of teasing like, what is it going to be? So it very well could still be Grass Dragon, just like Diplin is, just like Applin is, or it could be Bug Dragon as our first ever Bug Dragon type Pokemon. So even though Riddler-Ku did post that, and it looks like it potentially could be Bug Dragon, he also said it could also be Grass Dragon as well. So that could still very well be likely to be the case for Hydraplin. I also like the name Hydraplin as well, because it'd be like a Hydra, because we know it's going to have like 7 heads or something like that, or multiple heads. So does a Hydra. Hydraplin is a really, really good name. I think that is such a good name, and I kind of really hope that that is true. And then we have Iron Hooves, which is most likely going to be the Paradox form of Terrakion, and that's going to be Psychic Rock. Again, very likely to be the case, because the other Swords of Justice were Psychic type, so it's going to keep the Psychic type anyway, and then obviously it's going to have the Rock type, because that is one of its original typings. We then have Royal Beast, which is going to be Fire Dragon. That is going to be Paradox Entei. Again, nothing crazy to assume there. It is, of course, going to keep its Fire typing, and then just like Walking Wake and Raging Bolt have been Dragon type, so is Royal Beast, or the Paradox Entei form. And then the mythical Pokemon is not going to be in the DLC. Not crazy to expect that. And then it's going to be an Ice Poison Serpent. Now, this is the first thing that kind of gives me a little bit less believable, just simply because Riddler-Ku himself has said that the mythical Pokemon's typing is not known yet. So I don't know how, like, unless this person, their source is like way up and like knows before like Riddler-Ku's source. Like Riddler-Ku did say the typing is unknown yet. So the fact that this person apparently knows it kind of makes it a little bit less believable, unless this person's source is a little bit higher up than Riddler-Ku's source, and so they would get this information first. But a nice Poison Serpent would be kind of cool. But hopefully we get that mythical Pokemon announcement soon anyway, because apparently we're going to be getting the new movie announced next month regardless. And then story, again, this is going into a potential story spoilers. Again, this could be true, it could be false, I'm not sure. Just a heads up if you don't want to know about story stuff. But yeah, like I say, this isn't 100%, you know, confirmed. Just it could potentially be. So story, not very crazy. You just have to save some people possessed by Dokutaru in a side quest, but they all get saved at the end, except for Kieran, who you battle at the end of the Blueberry Academy once the Elite Four is beaten. No more battle points, but you get league points for defeating the Pokemon League. So league points isn't like something crazy new. Obviously, we've had that since Pokemon Scarlet and Violet began. So the fact that you get league points now for beating them is quite interesting over and over again. The post-game DLC allows a new battle facility where you battle trainers at random and are locked to level 50. Kieran can sometimes show up here now, and he is unpossessed. So again, the story is very much following the narrative of Dokutaro possessing a bunch of people. They're all becoming zombies, and you have to kind of like save them and wake them up or whatever. For the Wi-Fi battle Pokemon, you can pay league points to minimize IVs for a Pokemon. So that is very, very interesting as well, because Riddler also recently posted saying, what is this PK Hex feature going to be kind of like dealing with? And one of the options were IVs, and as well as that, he kind of gave a lot of I guess like hints towards that being the case. So if it is about IVs and we now spend league points to minimize IVs for a Pokemon, that would be absolutely incredible, just simply because that is why people like hack Pokemon so much, because getting minimal IVs on a Pokemon is very useful for certain Pokemon, especially for like Trick Room teams and stuff like that. So if we could spend league points to minimize IVs for a Pokemon, that would be incredible, and that could very well be the PKX feature that Riddler has already been talking about. So Blueberry Academy is in Unova. Again, we know that anyway. I don't know why they posted that, because I believe this came out after the Teal Mask. But you cannot explore the rest of Unova. Like, I don't know why you'd be able to. That would just be crazy. Especially if we're going to get Unova remakes or whatever next year. They wouldn't let you explore all of Unova in a DLC and then do it again for an actual full game. Its location in Unova isn't even explained. You have to just accept it is there. Sounds like something Pokemon would do. The only cameo from Unova is Drayden in a hut once you beat his grandson in the post-game. He gives you a Duraludon and you can evolve it into Archaludon. Again, it does look like we might get returning characters, and so like Drayden like reappearing could very well be the returning character. As for Terapagos, it cannot be caught at first, and the player tries to catch with a Master Ball but fails. Again, also relating to one of Riddler's hints where he did post that image of the Master Ball. That could be what this is like, kind of, what that hint was referring to. You have to earn its respect first and free it from another realm. The main story is in BA, but the Blueberry Academy, but you have to explore some of the Crystal Lake in the Teal Mask. Again, it's looking like we're going to be going back to the Teal Mask regardless. And then return to Area 0 in mainland Paldea and free Terapagos there. Briar is there, but not a huge role. Again, we already know about this information as well. It's just crazy how much this is getting correct, because Riddler literally said that Briar's battle is very underwhelming, so she's not going to be that important. And this post here is literally saying Briar is there, but she's not even got a huge role. It's mainly you meeting people along who tell you hints and try and save the magical Pokemon who's going everyone visions of a scary past or future. Terapagos created Area 0 and Herba Mystica 2,000 years ago and terraformed it into Area 0 we know now. Terapagos has the ability to forcefully evolve Pokemon at will, but when uncontrolled, it leads to mutations such as Paradox Pokemon. That's kind of mad as well, because I'm pretty sure, I mean, most of the Paradox Pokemon could have evolved, or in one way, shape, or form. Like, obviously, you got Jigglypuff, Screamtail. You know, that mutation would have stopped it from evolving into Wigglytuff, so which is why it became Screamtail and stuff like that, which would be a really cool kind of explanation about the Paradox forms. So some Pokemon wandering Area 0 were transmuted into Paradox, or I'm guessing that means transformed into Paradox Pokemon, and ravaged Area 0 where Terapagos lay to rest in the center of it, feeding more energy to the Paradox Pokemon with the old supply of Herba Mystica. Heath's Cyclizar will be the first one to transmutate into Koraidon Miraidon, and it is what the player rides on. So that could be very interesting. So the whole idea behind our Koraidon and Miraidon is that it was Heath's Cyclizar and it got transformed into a Paradox, because we know that Koraidon and Miraidon are Paradox forms of Cyclizar already. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's obviously it's a 4chan post. A lot of it, like, none of it seems out of the ordinary. You know, all of this very well could be true. They got a lot of stuff right. Again, some of it could have been piggybacking off of what Riddler has said, but Riddler has definitely posted things after the 20th of September, which have already been in this 4chan post. So I don't know, you know, take it with a grain of salt. It seems very believable though. I could very well get behind this, and a lot of it does sound really good as well. So we'll have to wait and see. What are your thoughts on this post though? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's fake? Let me know your reasons why. Do you like the idea of it, or do you hope it's not true? Let me know your thoughts about all of that. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. It's everything from me though. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, peace.